Yo, how's it going? This week has been pretty slow in terms of uploading videos because I don't know. It's just been a little bit busy with work. It's the end of the month. That's why I have a lot of work, and it's vacation time. So usually these 2 months are always full of work. Good thing is I have vacations in December, so I'll have a little bit more time to do more videos and more things I've been wanting to do. Um, a lot of videos. I've been wanting to do like a review video for the One Piece manga, but I haven't been able to record it nor write the review. So yeah, hopefully things can get better in my vacations because yeah, I'm just stacked with work and just don't really have much time. But we are here to talk about Night Light Hounds chapter 6. I was gonna say 2. Chapter 6. Now, the last chapter I didn't do a review because number 1, I didn't have time because again, like I said, work has just gotten in the way, and number 2, because there wasn't too much to kind of talk about nor too much to do. We just had your boy Jimmy going with I guess I forgot his name. I think it's Crow or Raven, something like that. He goes with Crow to get the wine. He meets Orca, who apparently is a woman. I thought Orca was a dude, but apparently Orca is a woman. Jimmy meets Orca. Orca wants to just kill the other faction of the family, which I enjoyed that part of the last chapter. That there definitely is friction between the two factions, between the two families, because yeah, they don't like each other. They fucking hate each other because they both want power. One of them is, I imagine, like he's like the nephew, from what I remember. He's a nephew, so obviously he has a closer relationship with with the leader of the family, with the head of the family, and Dorothy is a vampire. So obviously they want the power they want. I like that kind of friction between the two gangs, and I hope that it evolves into, again, like a Sopranos, the Penguin, Peaky Blinders type thing, but with vampires and supernatural powers. And yeah, and towards the end, Jimmy finds out who the vampire is. He's like the fucking gardener, and he finds out, and apparently that gardener can not control blood, I'm sorry, but I don't know if this is, I don't know if each vampire has a specific ability or if that's just the way that vampires work. But this specific vampire, when he bit Jimmy, his whole body went numb and it entered into a death like status. Again, it's like a type of poison. I don't recall if all of the vampires have this ability or if just this vampire has it, but yeah. And Jimmy played dead for the family that was holding a funeral. And what I enjoyed about this chapter is we got a couple of, we have a little bit more development in terms of like the world, the story, and how the world works, right? So we have Jimmy waking up and finding this vampire again, which I forgot his name. I'm just going to call him the vampire garden, the vampire gardener. He's like the gardener or like the chauffeur or something, and he's munching on some corpses. And Jimmy's trying to walk it off, shake it off, whatever, because he's a part of the family. So obviously he's a part of the family, so they're not going to do anything to him. And he just starts talking to this guy, and this guy very clearly knows that Jimmy isn't comfortable with these things and very clearly knows that Jimmy is kind of just fucking around. Like, Jimmy at this point in the story is really playing into the whole, the more you fuck around, the more you find out. So I'm pretty sure this vampire kind of knows that Jimmy's just kind of like fucking around. So he's letting Jimmy find out, and he's really disturbing Jimmy because, this guy tells Jimmy that he, basically munched on the whole family and was just blabbering about how good it feels and how good it is to taste blood. And that, it reminded me a lot about Tokyo Ghoul, where like some blood tastes horrible and some blood tastes good, and how sometimes vampires, like for example ghouls, they would go to like where people would go and unsubscribe themselves from life. I don't know how to say it without being too direct on YouTube, but people used to throw themselves from places, and the ghouls would take the bodies, right, instead of going out and hunting. And here in this case, vampires use, I'm guessing, like the funeral homes, which makes a lot of sense. They use the funeral homes to get the bodies and get the wine, get the blood. But as this vampire gardener states, it's not the same, taste. It tastes much better when it's obviously from the actual source. I guess when it's fresh, when it's pumping, when it's coursing, I imagine it has a very different flavor. And that's what he states. It's their nutrients, and it feels very, very different. I guess, I don't know, I guess this very typical thing of, that the blood taste is better when there's like a rush of adrenaline or something, whatever, which usually they use when it comes to man-eating creatures. That fear is an aphrodisiac. So that's basically what he's explaining to Jimmy, and Jimmy just escapes, leaves, and he gets really pissed because he's like, "Oh, all vampires are the same." But I'm like, Jimmy, that's not really the case, because Dorothea is a vampire and she has a house full of vampires, I imagine, and it doesn't seem like she's outright crazy. The chapter where she gets introduced, she seems pretty, not chill, but she seems pretty relaxed towards Jimmy. Like, she knows that he's lying, but she seems very relaxed. And if anything, I feel like both vampires and humans have their own distinct personalities. I really hope that Jimmy meets a vampire that is quote unquote good and isn't so sadistic as this one vampire. Because again, Jimmy states that all vampires are the fucking same and I hate them and I have to get rid of them. But I'm guessing he forgot that just like few chapters ago, a human let a lion munch on a person and laughed about it, and everyone in the party laughed, and I'm pretty sure there were a bunch of humans in there. So I think Jimmy's forgetting that. And again, I like the way that the manga frames it, because the manga is not telling you like, oh, humans are good and vampires are bad. No, because by actions, both humans and vampires are in a little bit of a gray area, and Jimmy thinks a specific way. But again, I like that the author is framing it like Jimmy thinks this way, but the reality is this. So again, it's showing you that the world isn't the way that Jimmy's simple mind is thinking it, but Jimmy thinks that specific way. So that's really good. And I really feel like as readers, we should really look into that and not just look at it from Jimmy's viewpoint, but also look at it from the perspective of what the author is trying to convey, which is that both humans and vampires are kind of messed up. And just because you're a human or a vampire doesn't mean you're good or evil. There's a little bit of a gray area there. And that's basically it. And then from there, Jimmy meets up with Kay and Lily. There's a really cute scene between the three of them. And Jimmy really wants Kay to get on with this plan. And Kay is like, all right, let's do it. And like they get on with the plan. I think Kay is a little bit of a loose cannon, because Kay states he looks way too chill all the time, because he states that they will need a lot of time to prepare to take down this vampire, because it took them 2 months to track the first vampire. I forgot his name already. Like the first vampire. And Jimmy insists, and Kay is like, all right, I guess we can do it. And I'm like, I don't really buy into that. I feel like Kay is not giving us all of the information. Some people stated like in the comment section of Manga Plus that Kay is probably lying about the fact that Lily only lives 10 years, so that Jimmy, seeing the emotional connection Jimmy has with Lily, so that he can get working and work faster, so that he can help Lily, that he can help him achieve it in a much faster way. So I feel like that is a very good possibility, because again, Kay just looks like he very casually just agrees to Jimmy's request. Like, I don't really buy into that, because if that were the case, I think Kay wouldn't be so nonchalant about just going with the plan right then and there instead of preparing for a long time. So I feel like Kay is not conveying everything, and he is hiding some things, which again, it's pretty good because it helps you, sort of look at every single angle, look at things from every single angle, and not specifically from like one. And I want to talk a little bit about a couple of comments where people were saying that Jimmy was alive because of plot armor, because nobody distrusts him or things. And I think that's wrong. I think we are missing the parts where literally everyone is doubting Jimmy. But I think we are quite literally forgetting that everybody distrusts Jimmy. Ever since he's met up with Dorothea, everybody kind of mistrusts him. We have seen situations where they did mistrust him. Dorothea, the goth mommy, the goth vampire mommy, asked Jimmy more than twice if he was sure that he doesn't know, like nobody else was involved with that first vampire's death. She tells him more than once. You could tell that she doesn't trust the guy. She doesn't trust him. And you can bet that the only reason she even allowed him in is to keep him close. It's like they say, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. So she definitely has Jimmy in the family just so she can spy on him, because that literally happened after his encounter with Dorothea. He was being followed. And so they had to lose the people that were following them. So yes, he's being followed. The police told Dorothea that this guy was talking about that. Like they know that he's working with someone else, but they obviously don't trust him. The only reason they want him there is because they want to have him close. Why else would Dorothea send Jimmy out with Crow, with this lackey, to get the wine? She obviously wants them close to him so that he doesn't go off by himself. Like, again, she wants to keep him close. So she definitely does not trust him. And then Orca doesn't trust Jimmy either, because Orca is just out here giving Jimmy shit right now. Yes, sure, she made a party in his honor. All right, fine. But again, you're just trusting that vampire's version. Maybe she's not planning a party. Maybe she already got rid of the other of Dorothea's faction members, and she's just waiting for Jimmy to show up. You know what I mean? So again, people don't trust Jimmy. It's not like Jimmy is just walking around like haha, yes, plot armor. No, they obviously don't trust him. But Dorothea isn't stupid enough to just off with Jimmy. What she's trying to do is she's trying to keep him close so that they can watch him, and maybe hopefully Jimmy will lead them to their enemy. So both Kay and Dorothea are using Jimmy for their own interests, which is kind of fucked up, but that's the way it is. So yeah, anyway, that's all I have to say about this chapter. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. So bye-bye.